Former correctional officers get prison for using inmates' identities in fraud scheme. This is out of Indianapolis. 2 former correctional officers have been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison for their part in an international fraud scheme. Cannot pronounce their names. They were both of Muncie. Have been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to aggravated identity theft and making false statements to a financial institution. It's simply reprehensible for correctional officers to exploit their positions to steal inmates' identities and further the financial exploitation of scam victims, said Zachary Myers, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana. Transnational fraud schemes have lasting repercussions for victims all over the country, and everyone who commits these crimes must be held accountable. The federal prison sentences imposed here should serve as a warning that the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office are committed to pursuing financial criminals and holding them accountable. According to court documents, between 2015 and their arrest in January 2019, these 2 fellows their names are just, I really cannot pronounce it, I don't want to butcher them, at the Newcastle Correctional Facility. During that time, they stole at least 5 inmates' personally identifiable information, including names, dates of birth, social security numbers.
Damn.
They used the stolen identities of the victim inmates to open at least 9 accounts at various Indiana banks using fraudulent passports. The passports were reportedly issued by Nigeria, Liberia, and Ghana. The passports included pictures of these 2 correctional officers, but the names and other information was of the inmates. At least $331,000 was deposited into the defendants' fraudulent bank accounts from at least 11 sources.
Yep, who's the criminal?
Was a guitar, I could play it like Santana. Probably hanging out of the roof of the panorama. Got the roof from here to Santa Ana. Fucking with the apes here, the clips is all bananas. Reload, re-up. Probably playing Riri in a Reese colored Corvette. Shit when you see us. Worse than the devil's rejects when you meet us. Nah, I changed now. I ain't trying to bang now. I'm just trying to smoke while the driver full of range round.
That's Chewy snoring. He's taking a nap. You know, Wisconsin still sends people out of state to do time. I'm talking like inmates and stuff from Wisconsin prisons. Because remember I was telling you guys that like when I was doing time and stuff back in the day, it was right when they had started sending people to Texas, Minnesota, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Yep. And I was just interested to see if they were still doing it, you know what I mean? Still sending people, or, you know, if there were people like still down there doing time from, you know, back then or whatever. Because they send people down there with some pretty lengthy sentences, you know what I mean? Because there's been a lot of conversation, you know, about like the mass deportation, stuff like that, and how they're sending people to like out the country and shit to these, you know what I mean, basically to do time where they're not even from, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And if you think about it, they're doing it here. I mean, within this country, the United States, you know what I mean? There's people that are here in Wisconsin, they commit their crime in Wisconsin, get sentenced by a judge to Wisconsin state prisons, and then they end up getting shipped shipped to another state to do time. That's crazy when you think about that. But I was just going to read this. So it says, Wisconsin currently has inmates serving time in other states. Under Wisconsin Statute 301.21, the Department of Corrections is authorized to enter into contracts with other states or private entities to house Wisconsin prisoners in out-of-state facilities. These arrangements are typically made to manage overcrowding or address specific facility needs. Additionally, Wisconsin participates in the Interstate Corrections Compact, which allows for the transfer and confinement of inmates between member states. This compact facilitates cooperation among states to provide appropriate programs and facilities for the confinement, treatment, and rehabilitation of offenders. That's some bullshit. They ain't sending nobody out of state to do no program or nothing like that. They're sending them down there to warehouse just to do time. While specific details about the number and locations of Wisconsin inmates housed out of state, I just told y'all. See, that's why I was saying that's where, unfortunately, like, I know all about that stuff, you know what I mean? Yep, those are the 4 places. I mean, unless they're sending them to some new places that I don't know of, you know what I mean? But it was Texas, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Tennessee. Yep, that's what they were sending people. I just made a pizza. I just got home from work a little while ago, so I'm gonna eat some pizza. And y'all might hear our refrigerator. We need a new refrigerator. I think we should just go on and just buy, a new one instead of asking people in the building for a new one. Because we had asked for a new one, and they just wheeled this bullshit one in here. I mean, it works and everything, but it's loud. Y'all could hear it. But that's crazy. Yep. So they're still sending people out of state. I was hoping they would have been done doing that, you know what I mean? Because I was back in the 90s, the late 90s, because I went to Waupun. I got sent to Waupun in 1998. I was in the hole at RCI. And then I remember one night I was up, and it had to have been about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little earlier than that. I just started, because you can see out your window in the hole at RCI. And I just remember just looking out my window, and just seeing a bunch of people, like, walking, you know what I mean, in chains. I was like, oh, man, that's the bus. Because people knew it was coming, but they wouldn't tell nobody, obviously, when they were scooping people up, when they were doing it in the dead of night. Sorry, I'm eating pizza, too. That's Miles Davis in the background, too. Him and John Coltrane are my favorite jazz artists. But yeah, I remember that, because they brought everybody to the hole, because that's where they stripped everyone down, changed clothes, got your property all sorted and situated, you know what I mean, and got you on that bus. And I remember they closed all the traps, because I was in the hole, you know what I mean, and they came around and closed all the traps. The traps are like, they're like shutters, basically blinds. Like you have the window might be about maybe 3-4 inches. So anytime like something serious going on, like if they're about to like maybe suit up and then go in and somebody's cell to get them out of there or whatever, discipline somebody, they don't want everyone to see that. So they'll come by and shut off the traps of the shutter so we can't see what's going on. You know what I mean? In case they end up beating the shit out of somebody or something like that. They don't want us to be able to see nothing. But they were doing that. That was crazy. So they still got people down there. And part of the reason they had to start doing that is because Scott Walker created that truth in sentencing. You know what I mean? And I know Governor Evers said that he wants to create like more earned release programs and stuff. They're going to have to just go on and just start letting people that have some, you know, and this may sound crazy, but like violent cases. I mean, everything's categorized, so. Because as of right now, excuse me, I was just finishing chewing my food. I don't want to be sitting here smacking off. I know that's annoying as hell when you can hear somebody smacking. But I was so hungry, I just got home, you know what I mean? But anytime they do that, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I dropped some pizza on the floor. That's not a good thing. Sauce and stuff like that. I'm moving around so fast because I just got home. Want to take a shower and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Eat. Because sometimes, like when I get home from work sometimes, depending on how long my day was, it'll be getting close when I got to go get Michelle. So I'll start, you know, feeling like squeezed, you know what I mean? Because I don't really eat nothing at work. They don't really offer food there. When I'm out and about, like I'll duck off and go grab some food or whatever and stuff like that sometimes, but sometimes I don't end up eating anything. And then when I get home, I'm just in a rush. So, but anyways, they've been sending people out of state for a while, but Scott Walker created that truth and sentencing and made it tough. But Governor Evers, he's going to have to start creating programs where they can let people that have, you know, violent offenses. I'm not talking about murderers and rapists and all that. But if you got a guy that's in there for armed robbery, it's his first time, you know what I mean? 19, 20-year-old kid, just probably needs some discipline in his life, some structure, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Get challenged a little bit. It'll help. I'm not talking about someone that's got 3 rapes and stuck up 8 gas stations and has got 3 murders. And I'm not talking about that kind of stuff, y'all. Pedophile, I'm not talking about any of that kind of stuff. Because here's another thing, too. Some of these judges are backing, and they're saying similar things to what I'm saying. You got to create more open doors. You know what I mean? They got like over 2,000 people just waiting to get in the earned release program right now, just waiting. I waited over a year to get in there. But that's the only way you're going to ease overcrowding. Either that or you got to reverse that truth in sentencing and bring back parole. Because before 1999, it was still parole. You did 2/3 of your time, and you got out, mandatory release. You know what I mean? And you saw the parole board after 25% of your sentence. Like if you went in with 10 years, you would see the parole board after 2.5 years, because that's 25% of your sentence. Most likely the first time you don't get out. I don't care what type of crime you have or who you are. Generally that first time they don't let you out. You know. But then, you know, you keep going to parole, at least you have a chance. But now, like they have programs that violent offenders can participate in now. They will be able to like get them moved down a minimum and stuff like that for completing or stuff, but not anything where they can get released to the streets. But see, there's just that perception of like, and you know, I don't know if it's going away slowly or just, you know, and that's a stereotype. That's a stereotype that stings black and brown people to this day still. You know what I mean? Because Scott Walker, he wanted to get all tough on crime, you know, back in the late 90s and all that shit. And the stereotype was that all the black people were the criminals and shit like that, and they wanted to lock us all up. I got caught all up in the middle of that. But, I mean, my choice. I was doing the stuff I was doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. So I know how all that went down. The 94 crime, but that's right around when I started getting into trouble. But my point is, they got to create programs where, you know, someone with an armed robbery, why shouldn't he be able to get the same kind of treatment, same kind of counseling, the same kind of help that someone that's in there for a burglary? Like, why should they be different? Because that person that committed a burglary, next time it could be armed robbery, which is considered a violent case. It's all theft and stealing. There's potential for someone to be hurt during a burglary if someone's in there when you go in there. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, currently, right now, the only programs that they have where a person can earn their freedom and get released, you have to have a nonviolent offense. Auto theft, burglary, forgery, you know, that kind of stuff. Property offenses are what, you know, what they call them. A lot of those fall under. And remember, we were telling y'all, for people that know or that have been listening for a while, like Michelle's daughter got robbed like maybe a little over a year ago, and the person just got sentenced like, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago now or something already. But Michelle had listened in, like on the Zoom, they had it like hooked up and stuff, and her daughter spoke, and her daughter's boyfriend at the time spoke, and the judge, when she was sentencing dude, she said that he would be a perfect candidate for like the challenge incarceration program or earned release. That's boot camp or the earned release program. But as it stands currently right now, the way the law is written, she couldn't recommend him for that because it's a violent offense, armed robbery. It was armed robbery. But she said herself, I heard her say it because I was here, I was just listening, I'm saying, ear hustling or whatever. And the judge said, she said he would be a perfect candidate to participate in one of them programs, but the way the law stands currently right now, she can't recommend or sentence him to that. You know what I mean? Because someone like him, he needs some structure and some discipline. He needs to talk about his issues and his problems and stuff like that, counseling, learn some critical thinking, some critical rational thinking and all that stuff, learn how to problem solve and stuff. And you'll get that structure and discipline. Because, like, you get up every morning, you exercise, you work out, you're on a schedule, routine. You know what I mean? And you get evaluated on all of that stuff, too. Like the groups, the AODA, the counseling, the school. Like, you can get your HSED in there, GED, you know what I mean? And then, like, you go out on work crew and all that stuff and do stuff. I was telling you guys the stories about the work crew. They had us way out there, damn near 10 minutes from Minnesota, cutting down old tree branches and limbs and stuff like that in the dead of winter. You know what I mean? Like in boot camp, you can't talk. You literally can't talk. You have to ask for everything. If your nose is itching, you want to scratch your nose, you have to ask permission. I'm not lying either. I'm not exaggerating. I'm making it up. You have to ask. This is how it will go. I'll tell you real quick before I go. Like if you're in boot camp and my nose is itching, I can't just scratch my nose. I would have to ask. I would have to say, Sir, Sergeant, it's been a while. Inmate Johnson requesting permission to speak, sir. And then they'd be like, what do you want? And you'd be like, yes, sir. Sir, may I scratch my nose, sir? And then they'd tell you, yeah, or no. And then you scratch your nose, and then you would have to say, sir, Inmate Johnson returning from scratching his nose, sir. And they would say, carry on. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not making that up. That's how structured it is. And you guys, can you deal with that? Like, how much do you want your freedom? How much do you want to change? Because that's where any change starts in the brain, in the mind. You got to change your way of thinking. No change can happen without it. And that's why I was saying, that's why it's so hard for people to admit they're wrong and stuff like that. You can't change people's mind that quick. It's impossible. That's why everyone always argues and debates and fusses and fights. Because everyone feels their way of thinking is best. They know, all that. So, yep. All right, y'all, let's get back to the episode. That's a little Miles Davis. I'm going to go grab me a cigarette, a little piece of pizza. I'm going to let this play for about a minute. If you're not interested, fast forward about a minute. Hope y'all like our new logo. Yeah, we're going to keep that. We got like the 2 microphones, you know, because there's 2 of us, you know, me and Michelle and I. You know what I mean? And then we got like the blue lettering to kind of symbolize, you know, cold being blue and like the world. And we got the little globe and stuff. Yeah. And all right, y'all. Let's get back to this episode. I'm going to take off in about 15 minutes and go get Michelle. And then we're going to come home. I set some pizza aside for her. She'll probably eat a little pizza, and then we'll probably take a little nap. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, so I hope that life's treating everyone well. Do something good for somebody today. And keep yourself safe. And always protect your peace. All right, y'all.
In southeastern Oklahoma continue today after they were secretly recorded making racist remarks, including comments about killing reporters and lynching black residents. One county commissioner has already stepped down. Stephanie Sy has the story.
Jeff, the recording was obtained by a local newspaper, the McCurtain Gazette-News. A reporter who has spent months investigating corruption at the sheriff's office left an audio recorder in the room after a county commissioner's meeting ended, suspecting the sheriff, the commissioner, and others would continue to conduct business. Instead, he apparently captured a recording of top county officials allegedly discussing wanting to kill a McCurtain Gazette reporter, while waxing nostalgic about the days when a sheriff could take a, quote, black guy, throw him in a cell, and beat him. We're going to play a snippet of the recording where the suggestions of murder continue in, we should warn you, graphic detail.
I know. Take a guy on Mud Creek and hang him up with the damn rope. Yeah. But you can't do that. Think about it. They got more rights than we got. I know where 2 big holes are here. I got an excavator. These are already pretty good. You got to put the thing of it in, you know.
We actually found the
I've known 2 or 3 hit men. They're very quiet guys.
For reaction, I want to bring in.
That's crazy, ain't it? These are Oklahoma County officials. They're being recorded making racist remarks, discussing killing a reporter, y'all. That's messed up. That is messed up. So calls for resignation of county officials in southeastern Oklahoma continue after they were recorded making racist remarks, including explicit comments about murder and invoking violence harking back to the Jim Crow era. Stephanie Sy discussed the backlash with Deon Osborne. Man, this is crazy. Let's see. So you already heard the recording and stuff like that. But this is, let's see, I'm just fast forwarding up here a little bit because I already played the audio. You might hear Chewy in the background snoring. I don't want to bore y'all with it too much, but just another example, you know what I mean, of just the things that a lot of white people say about black people, you know, still to this day, like, you know, behind closed doors, the stuff they say to us. That's what I was saying, like, a lot of times, they want to see us play basketball, sing, you know, do music, be creative, you know, play sports, throw the football, catch a touchdown pass, Like, that's it. And other than that, they don't respect us for anything. Y'all know the drill. Time to take Charlie outside. About to go pick Michelle up. Charlie's 14, y'all. Man, don't you hate seeing your pets get older and stuff like that? Seems like just the other day he was 5. That's crazy. That's one bad thing about having a pet. You know what I mean? Because they don't live as long as us, so you don't get much time with them. Morning. Yeah, you don't get that much time with them. And I said good morning to that lady. It's good afternoon. She looked at me like, huh? I was wondering why she didn't say. She just kind of looked at me like, what? It's 12:48 in the afternoon. It is 12:48 p.m. Sun is shining. Yeah. Charlie's using the bathroom. Ooh, that's like a morning piss, Charlie. He doesn't really like going down the steps anymore. You know, he's getting older, so I guess I wasn't out here, but Michelle said he like fell or something like that. Oh, y'all hear that plane up in the sky? One thing I will not be doing. You want to try to get one more pee out, Charlie, before I go get your mom? Because then you won't go out again. So how often do y'all take y'all dogs out? We take ours out probably like maybe about 4 times a day. It's usually try to get one more in, Charlie. It's usually like at around. I usually take them out. Y'all be knowing. I usually first time is about maybe around like 4 in the morning, and then whenever I get home from work. Normally it's going to be somewhere between about 11:30 and about like 1:30 in the afternoon. So I take them out. Then Michelle will take them out like around about 4. And then we take them out one more time like around 7. And then that's it. You good to go? So I think about 4 times is enough. Because I always wonder too, like, on some random shit. Like, I wonder how many times, just on an average, that a human being uses the bathroom in a 24-hour period. Man or a woman. Just average. I think probably about maybe 6 times. I'm talking about number 1, not number 2. Number 2 should be at least once a day. At least. But 2 would be better. But at least once. But I think the average person probably does number 1, probably, I'm going to say probably average about 6 times a day. That's probably once every, every few hours probably or something like that maybe. I don't know, anyways. But yeah, I was just wondering about that. But yeah, we take them out about 4 times a day. And then we've been getting Chewy out more too now and stuff like that. We took him out for a walk before we left for work. All right, y'all. Back to the episode. Thanks for listening.
Sit back, Joe. enjoy the vibe, you know? Yeah. I wake up and I pray, then roll another J. Close my eyes and I meditate, trying to find a way. Lord, open up my third eye, take the 9 away. By the way, I'm in pain, I just let it hide away. Smoking weed is the medicine without the side effects. Reflect on high school, me and Long playing DOS effects. Real nigga to the day I die. Arm out of breath, I got fresh and soul powder, so I guess I'm powder fresh. Wanna play the game of death, homie, that's without a ref, without the rules. All I know is niggas making power moves. If you see me with a posse, then I'm making shower moves. Time is money, little nigga, you know what the hour do. And I'm thinking to myself, then I need a mega trip. Trying to make another decimal, but make it effortless. Homie can't see the vision, fuck it, he's a pessimist. But I'm an optimist, living on some proper shit. Ghosts, nightmares, dreams. Poverty, the wealth from insanity. They're trying to find harmony for self from vanity. Trying to stay humble on the delf. You don't understand me, you don't understand yourself. From nightmares to dreams. Poverty, the wealth from insanity. Trying to find harmony for self from the vanity. Trying to stay humble on the delf. You don't understand me, you don't understand yourself.
Former correctional officers get prison for using inmates' identities in fraud scheme. This is out of Indianapolis. 2 former correctional officers have been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison for their part in an international fraud scheme. Cannot pronounce their names. They were both of Muncie. Have been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to aggravated identity theft and making false statements to a financial institution. It's simply reprehensible for correctional officers to exploit their positions to steal inmates' identities and further the financial exploitation of scam victims, said Zachary Myers, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana. Transnational fraud schemes have lasting repercussions for victims all over the country, and everyone who commits these crimes must be held accountable. The federal prison sentences imposed here should serve as a warning that the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office are committed to pursuing financial criminals and holding them accountable. According to court documents, between 2015 and their arrest in January 2019, these 2 fellows their names are just, I really cannot pronounce it, I don't want to butcher them, at the Newcastle Correctional Facility. During that time, they stole at least 5 inmates' personally identifiable information, including names, dates of birth, social security numbers.
Damn.
They used the stolen identities of the victim inmates to open at least 9 accounts at various Indiana banks using fraudulent passports. The passports were reportedly issued by Nigeria, Liberia, and Ghana. The passports included pictures of these 2 correctional officers, but the names and other information was of the inmates. At least $331,000 was deposited into the defendants' fraudulent bank accounts from at least 11 sources.
Yep, who's the criminal?
That fat old dog.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Chewy.
Yep, this is the second day now I brought Chewy with me to pick Michelle up. He likes it. It's nice. It's really nice outside, too, so I wanted to get him some fresh air. I took him out when I got home from work. I took them both out separately because it's just too much trying to handle both of them. Because Chewy's just...
And Charlie is not.
Right, exactly.
It'd be different if they walked even the same pace.
Mm-hmm.
But they really just don't. I love this song.
So, yeah. Oh, what do you want? Oh, I made a pizza. I put half of it away for you. I was so hungry when I got home.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome. It's pepperoni. DiGiorno thin crust. Okay. It's like thinner crust, but it's still like slightly. It's not like the ultra thin one. Because those I feel like you don't get full off of. Though, like the ultra thin ones aren't enough for 2 people.
Got
I feel. Yeah. So we're just heading home. We're downtown. There's a lot of people out there, Packer gear on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, because the NFL draft is in Green Bay. Packers got the 23rd pick, first
I'm
round.
guessing that's their car with the Packer flag on it.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is the first time ever Green Bay has had the hosted the NFL draft. Well, you know, the city's so small. Good luck getting a hotel in Wisconsin this weekend.
Right. Well, I've heard that's a good coffee place.
Where?
Canary.
Oh, the Canary?
Yeah.
Okay. Michelle shouting out Canary. She said her daughter says it's decent. Canary Coffee. It's on Dr. Martin Luther King now. Yeah. Well, you know, they made MLK a little longer now.
Yes.
You know, they cut it off. So it's nice that they extended it some. You know, we'll take it. They don't want to give black people too much and shit, so we got to take what we can get. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't give them too much. That was always dumb to me. Like, half the street was MLK and then it turned into something else. It's like, why can't we just have the whole street? God damn, can we have something?
Yeah.
They didn't even want us having the whole street.
Look at all the cheese heads.
Yeah. Wow, y'all. So it is 1:02 in the afternoon. So who's on third?
Oh my God.
Packed.
Striped pants.
That's at least 100 people there, all in Packer gear, waiting to get into that bar.
Right.
And I guarantee the eating is not the first thing they're going in there to do.
Yeah.
And some of them are still heading up to Green Bay.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
There's some people that are they're going to get the whole experience. They're going to come down to the big city in their minds. Because just think, like, there's people that are from Green Bay or from, like, a smaller town. And, like, downtown Milwaukee is small to us because we've been here forever.
Right.
But to someone that comes from way up north or something, this is like, they're like, oh, my God, these ain't no damn skyscrapers.
Like, look at all these black people.
That, too. Yeah. And then
somebody's saying that.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, there's no way they're not, because like we just said, that goes into what I just said. There's probably people that are coming down here experiencing this NFL draft that have never set foot in Milwaukee.
Right.
You're right. And they're saying all that stuff, and they're looking at people, and they're stereotyping people in their minds, and they're, boy, if people had ESP today, it'd be a lot of people getting punched in the mouth and people getting cussed out.
And I bet there's a lot of people that didn't want to, or maybe flew here.
Yeah.
And just were like, let's just stay in Milwaukee and watch it at a bar or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's watch parties happening, right?
Hell yeah. So basically, be careful if you're driving anywhere in Wisconsin, really, because, you know, like you say, it's going to be all over the state. All the little surrounding communities right around Green Bay are going to, you know, so just be careful if you're out driving and stuff. Just be careful, because people are going to be driving drunk tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Drunk, buzz, whatever you want to call it. People are going to be getting pulled. I'd love to be able to pull the arrest records tomorrow morning.
Right.
All the stuff that's going on. Can you imagine all the incidents that are going to happen today between the drunk driving, the disorderly conduct, the fight? Yep. All that stuff. Jazz. People are going to be slipping roofies and people's drinks and shit like that. Anything under the sun is going to go down. So just be careful. If you're a woman, well, men too, don't be letting nobody give you a drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't.
Get roofied and murdered.
Yeah, you can get roofied. Because people work in teams too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then before you know it, all your shit is gone. You know, or you're waking up somewhere, you don't know where the hell you are or something. So just don't be getting up, going to the bathroom and coming back, you know, leaving your drink unattended and all that stuff. And if you do let somebody buy your drink, make sure it's a beer and you see that bartender popping that bottle open.
Right.
And they hand it to you.
There was a bar in Cedarburg or what's by Cedar? No, it was
Grafton area, maybe something
it was
like that.
Cedarburg,
Okay.
and the owner / bartender was roofing people.
Oh wow. There's nothing new under the sun, y'all. The sun is out though today. It's beautiful.
Yes.
I think, and I don't use that word too often. It's got to be almost 70.
It's a little breezy.
A little breezy, yeah.
But I'll take
Should we let Chewy out one more time, or are we good?
Damn.
What you
No,
think?
we're good if you just let him
I
out.
took him out for a walk when I got home, and then he just, when I pulled up, when I was waiting for you to come out, I let him out again. So.
Got all the peas out?
Yeah. Chewy was barking at some white man when we were sitting in the car. I ain't trying to make it racial, y'all. I'm just saying, like,
He's sitting nicely in the back
he
there,
is.
too.
And I'm telling y'all, like, anytime that he sees black people in the building or whatever, like, he gets all excited, jumps on, he wants to be petted. You know what I mean? He just, like, navigates, whether it's a woman or a man. But I notice white people, he doesn't do that. I'm saying, I'm not trying to, like, make that in my mind, like,
No,
be
I know
a
what you're
thing.
saying, yeah.
I'm like, and then when we were sitting in the car here, when we were waiting for you to come out, he was looking out the window, and there's this white man walking across the street, and he started barking at him, like, he was like,
Were you being aggressive?
yeah, it was like aggressive, like he was protecting me or something. He, like, got in my lap and was sitting up, and he was looking at the white man, and he was barking at him. Like, you ain't coming. He was like, if you're ICE or something, you ain't coming. You ain't coming to take my daddy. My daddy legal. Shit, Chewy was like, you can try if you want to. Shit, tell him, Chewy. This is Nas, Scarface, and Styles P, y'all.
Boys chillin', represent for the niggas in the hood and how they living. Heavy metal concealing, hustle until you touch it, 9 to 5 and serve dealing. It don't matter how I get it, I got it. I'm feeling, I don't have none. I'm about my paper, nigga, ass up. Don't get confused on how the cash come. Never, by any means necessary, better. Get up off your ass and get my money before I stretch you. Alice watch your doorstep. When I read it, just 4/5, you can make it rain and shoot. Man, a ghost, yo. See, I come from them cuts for real. Left long before this rap came up the deal. I survived the game of life, nigga, up some skills. Crossing me in any way this musket. I'm alive, he came, he busted, he left. I would have made for sure I was dead. Hold yourself, yeah. Sometimes I wonder, will a nigga go under because of his hunger? This game is risky. If a nigga slip 6 feet, will these niggas really miss me?
Play about another minute, y'all. If you're not interested, fast forward about maybe about another minute.
Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder. It's nothing like the feeling of being in the building. All of a sudden, the good guys turn into the villains. Pure satisfaction inside of the action. Can't see it in the games, feel it in the captions. This is full contact. Winning is a contract. Don't ever forget that. Losing is a setback. You can learn a lot though. It's all about the clock though. Win, lose, or draw. The game never stops though. Worry about the critics or the analytics. This ain't something you play. You really have to live it. Half the battle is known. The prove is to show them. They won't see you coming until they see you going. Soar as high as you can. Don't ever stop flying. There's heaven in winning and hell in not trying. Face all fears, but they face you. Don't chase victory, let it chase you. The game. Sometimes I wonder, will a nigga go under because of his hunger? This game is risky. If a nigga slip 6 feet, will these niggas really miss me? Dead partners too soon. All these niggas
flipping on me, cause I won't give no loot to them. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder.
Filled with disgust. What should I discuss? Make a lot of money, it becomes a lack of niggas you can trust. Dealt with bullshit here, but I played the royal flush. Got a bad habit, black golf rabbit with some clutch. We was just teams, my nigga, and BWs. Now as a grown man, nigga, I need W's. I ain't trying to trouble you, nigga, I'm trying to bubble you. That could be your money or scar. Are you lovable? If you ain't one of my niggas, I'm not huggable. Try to restore me, nigga, I'm not thuggable. Chucking the brown, yelling not good,